Want to recognize the student attendance and crowd tonight. 4 or 5 short years ago when we got here and started building this thing, that was really objective number one. Not 1B, not 1C, one, try to get the home court advantage back in Lubbock to stay. I know that last year Tubby was here. The crowd helped him win those games to get him in the tournament. And I was fortunate enough to be an assistant here those years with Coach Knight and Pat, so we all know what this place can be at its best. And the challenge was to get to where we could be a home court advantage, a great crowd regardless of what time the game was or what was on TV that night. And I think, we're there. We're really close. So the students create the whole atmosphere in the building. I can't tell you how many times season ticket holders always say they enjoy the game so much when the student section's packed. So just on behalf of everybody, the Raider Riot, all the other organizations and students that contribute to filling that student section night in, night out, I can't thank you enough. Me personally, our players, everybody in our organization. It's one of the cool things about Texas Tech, I think, is the student section in basketball games. So thank you to the students. One more home game, Thursday, 6 o'clock. Hope that we can get everybody back out again and really and have another home court advantage. So thank you to the crowd, especially the students.
Let's start with Joe Yeager. Joe, you there?
Yeah, Coach, early in the second half, it looked like you had a few defensive lapses, and then you brought in Benson, Buzo, Nadoli, Tyreek, and Peavy. And over a period of about 3 minutes, it looked like they expanded the lead by maybe about 5 or 6 points. Could you just talk about that group and that particular juncture of the game?
Yeah, I got a lot of confidence in those guys. Each of them are deserving of minutes. We're obviously trying to increase our rotation right now with March and the reality that we're going to have to play back-to-backs and things like that. And so, I thought those 5 guys on the court weren't playing defense the way that we expect or the way we have to. Without watching the film, I think we were allowing too much dribble penetration. We were leaving Samuel to go help, and then nobody was helping the helper. So it's a little frustrating. And the next 5 guys that came in cleaned it up and did a great job.
All right, Carlos. All right, Skylar, let's go to you. Then we'll go back to Carlos. Skylar with AP.
Thank you, sir. Chris, you obviously raised the expectations a couple of years ago around there. How do you think this team has played under those, and what do the last 2 games say about this team sort of answering that 3-game losing streak?
Yeah, expectations are everything. If you sit around, thinking about making the tournament, there's a difference between that kind of thought process and sitting around thinking about winning the tournament. I always think about the players that came before these guys that really paved the way and set the expectations. So fortunate to coach so many great players here these last 4 or 5 years. But we definitely have a standard, an expectation. We're not ashamed or embarrassed to tell people. We're trying to win the Big 12 year in, year out. We're trying to compete for the national championship. We're trying to be in that NBA draft room each year with guys watching their dreams come true. We're trying to sell out every single home game. We're trying to graduate every player that comes through our program. So trying to get assistant coaching jobs, our assistants head Division I coaching jobs, or trying to get our staff guys in the NBA or college or whatever their individual goals are. So, our expectations are high and we don't shy away from that. I think this year's group has done well. With the outside adversity of the COVID-19 and some of the other internal stuff that we've kind of fought this year, no different than any other team. I think these guys have persevered. We're sitting here in March. We control our own destiny, and we're still relative. We're not in the fight for the Big 12 regular season championship, but we're going to have an opportunity to compete for the championship in Kansas City as well as Indianapolis. So I'm proud of this year's team. I think these guys have done well. I think the last two games where we all understand our backs were against the wall a little bit, I thought the guys played their best basketball when we needed them to play their best basketball. And to me, that was the story tonight. 50% shooting, low turnover game, 22 assists on our 29 baskets. We're playing the game the right way. And then defensively, I thought we were locked in. We held TCU to a field goal percentage that favored us. And we guarded the three-point line well tonight as well.
Let's go to Eric Kelly.
Coach, what do you like about, obviously Kyler can help you in a ton of ways, but these past two games, what have you liked about his aggressiveness on offense?
Yeah, I think Kyler is he's off to a great start. I mean, his stat sheet the last 5 or 6 games is ridiculous. I think it should be, a story that's told in the world of college basketball. I know you can't tell every story, so many great players and great teams in our league, but you guys just take a look at that sometime. I think Wes puts that out where you get the stat packages where it's regular season, conference only. Those last 5 games is always a big stat sheet. Now these last, what I hope to be 12 or 13 games, that's the one that matters most. But Kyler's playing his best basketball now in March. That was always by design. I thought tonight he really let the game come to him. His aggressiveness was within playing the game the right way. He had those 2 turnovers early. Then he played the rest of the game with no turnovers. Obviously was really aggressive tonight, which our team needs him to be. But Kyler's playing well, and I'm super proud of him.
And obviously you talked about your next games. The next one, with a quick turnaround, Iowa State, a team that's been much improved since the last time you guys played them. What's going to be the challenge in terms of now moving on and putting together a good game plan for them?
Yeah, I mean, this is March, guys, and the next game on the schedule is always the most important. This is Big 12 basketball where we all understand that anybody can beat anybody on any given night. Iowa State's got one of the best coaches in college basketball. That's not just my opinion. That's facts. They got all conference level players, and so there's zero quit in that program. Just look at their last games. Look at every game they've been in this year. They fight and scrap. So we'll have to play very well on Thursday at 6 o'clock to defend our home court. Iowa State presents all sorts of challenges for us. We'll get to work on that later tonight.
All right, let's go to Phil.
Chris, what did you think of your team's off-ball movement tonight?
Off-ball movement. Well, I think the big stat for us offensively without watching the film is, how many baskets were assisted tonight. So that normally means you're sharing the ball with spacing. You don't have one guy that's dribbling it, a bunch and going to score himself. So, I would suspect that we had some pretty good movement. I'll watch the film here in a minute. But I think with those assists, it's obviously we did some good things on offense tonight.
Carlos, wrap us up.
Chris, going back to Kyler and what he was able to do, how much of that, or did you have a conversation with him? Because certainly you've seen him work day to day and seen his confidence shooting, but what really kind of changed his attitude to where maybe he's not passing up these open shots and kind of looking for his shot, as you said, and kind of making a game come to him and be a little bit more aggressive in that sense?
Well, we've never had Kyler passing up shots. He's one of the best shooters in the Big 12. He works on his craft all day, every day. He's got a real stroke. Sometimes you got to understand that the other guy is a pretty good coach and the other team's pretty good too. So most guys make it hard for your best shooter or your best shooters to get shots. So some of the games this year, when Kyler only gets 3 or 4 threes, that's just not acceptable. We spent a lot of time as an organization looking at it. I think tonight, Mac McClung, 6 assists, playing the game the right way. Made some big-time offensive plays, Mac did. Kev's always an unselfish guy that understands how to play the game, and we had some other high assist games tonight. So, when guys are sharing the ball, then, Kyler benefits. Kyler understands how to play the game the right way. He's been around here, his 3rd year. So, obviously it's an easier game and it's a better game when the ball goes in. These are the same shots that Kyler takes on some nights where it doesn't go in. But what I've liked about Kyler recently is his aggressiveness. He's losing himself in the game. He's playing great defense as well. And as is the case with all really good players, when you lose yourself in the game, it's just a matter of time till the stat sheet fills up.
What's been kind of the difference in the way you guys have played defense the past 2 games that has allowed you guys to have so much success on that end?
We know our back's against the wall right now with our record and all. So, we're trying to get in the tournament, make the tournament, get a good seed. And we know to do that, we need a resume, and we need to beat teams that we normally know we can win.
You talked about, wanting to make a push. Do you still treat, even though you're ranked, do you still treat these games like you need to win them?
Most definitely.
To get into the tournament?
Most definitely. All these games are must wins for us, because we know what's at stake if we lose, and then and we know what's at stake if we win. So we just trying to get a higher seed each game.
Coming out of that kind of break where you guys didn't play any games, you got off to kind of a slow start. Do you feel like you guys have kind of gotten back into your groove a couple games in now?
Oh yeah, we had a couple tough practices. Guys came together. And we just coming together as a team. That's pretty much what it is, really. It's no secret. We just coming together as a team.
Let's go to Skylar Dixon with AP. You there, Skylar?
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm sorry. Hey, Kyler, you were around 2 years ago. The expectations are really high based on what happened 2 years ago. How do you feel like this team has played amid those expectations, and what do the last 2 games coming off the losing streak sort of say about that?
First, I would say these guys in this locker room are not tired of hearing about the team we had 2 years ago, but we want to be better than the team we had. We just want to, make that run and do the best we can. In the 2 games we lost, like I said, we had a couple tough practices, and we got back in the lab and got together as a team and said we're gonna make this push. So that's what we're doing right now.
Let's go to Carlos.
Kyler, for you, you haven't had some of the scoring totals that maybe you'd like, but you've been able to help this team in different ways. For you, how satisfying has it been to kind of be in the lab, so to speak, and be able to have a game like today for yourself, scoring-wise?
Scoring is not that much important to me. If I have 0 points and we win, I'm gonna be happy. So if I have 20 when it comes to the win, so be it. So I'd rather have a win more than anything.
So I guess with that in mind, in terms of what you were able to do to help your team win today, what did you see when you made that first 3 and it felt like you were kind of willing guys to runs in that first half?
I think I've been shooting the ball pretty well the last 5 games. So me just knowing that and having confidence in myself, and my teammates giving me confidence. That's just giving it to me right there. So
going back to that confidence, when did you feel? I know sometimes it can go up and down depending on the way a season goes, but when did you feel like you regained that confidence? Because I know there were times where maybe you pass up a shot to where maybe you were wide open, and now it seems like you're kind of being more aggressive now on the offensive end.
Like I said earlier, we know it's at stake. And I'm gonna do everything I can to lead this team to a victory. So if that's either getting rebounds, assists, scoring, whatever it is, I'll do it.
All right, let's go to Brandon.
Yeah, Kyler, you mentioned assists. I think you guys had 22 tonight. What does that say about this team and kind of their unselfishness?
I think we're very unselfish. Us having 22 assists, 9 turnovers, that's pretty good. I think, is that the highest of the season? Maybe. It might be, but us just being unselfish, we can play in the March. We call it March basketball. So, us playing that type of style is going to get us far.
I think I have to ask, when you hear the students start chanting for Vlad, what's kind of going through your mind, and a young guy like that with such big popularity?
We love it. TJ gave his spot up just for Vlad to get in. He pulled Coach over to the side and said, put Vlad in instead of me. So, that's unselfishness right there. So, it's pretty fun when hearing the crowd.
Kyler, you guys held Miles and Nemhard to 12 combined points. What were you doing well defensively on the perimeter to accomplish that?
We had a great game plan by the coaches, we just executed it. I think, putting pressure on them, corralling the ball screen, just doing anything we could to get out their hands. It worked tonight, so